walked in. There's Jake.
Hey everybody, my name is Jake. I'm a former Jehovah's Witness, current politics avoider, and welcome to Sunday Service, where me and Bo, my cat who's making a bunch of noise off mic, talk about Jehovah's Witness stuff in a rambunctious way. I closed the window because it's so ridiculously hot in here, but Bo is just not gonna let that happen, it seems. So before we get into this, let me explain a little bit about what the show is. If this is your first time watching, me and a bunch of usually ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, ex-evangelicals, and people in the chat, we check in with our old cults, see what's going on, and kind of dunk on them. And usually at the top of the stream, I go through some preamble, and boy, oh boy, do I have some preamble today. We're going to just kind of react to... Oh, hey, buddy. We're going to react to some old Tony Morris talk. So old Anthony Morris. I've been making some edits with him, the former governing body member who was removed for mysterious reasons we still don't have any confirmation about. And I thought we'd do that just because everything is kind of scary right now. And I want to keep doominess out of the chat today. Please be on your best behavior. I don't want to see any jokes. I'm assuming you know what I'm talking about. I'm recording this the day after there was an assassination attempt on former President Trump. Yesterday, Christina and I were at an organizing event like all day. Got this nice organizing for Ohio t-shirts. It was awesome, and we were feeling really great. It was exciting. And it was a little triggering, actually, at first, because I've been avoiding crowds and events for basically since leaving the group. I get triggered. Like, I've been avoiding, like, indoor concerts even. And, you know, I was glad that I got through it. I was glad that I kind of got past that triggering feeling because it was great. It was really motivating and feeling good about democracy and just people actually trying to make the world a better place, you know. And then, of course, we got home and somebody had taken a shot at Trump. And the triggering nature started all over again. And I don't want to talk about it, you know, and I don't want to talk about it because I know that, you know, my politics have never been a secret on the channel, but this isn't a politics channel. This is an ex-Jehovah's Witness channel, and ex-Jehovah's Witnesses are not people who share, you know, a political ideology or anything like that. We come together because we have a shared trauma, and I have people who watch and listen to the show all across the political spectrum. Oh my God, you asshole! What the fuck? He really wants it to be as hot as humanly possible in here. Oh my God. But, you know, my goal is always to try and make stuff that's not super triggering, if possible. And not only is the world scary, but that's tough for us as ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, because one of the things that bond us is the fact that we were in a doomsday cult and we were worried about the end of the world. And there's just an air right now of uncertainty and fear and violence. And so I want to avoid that because, frankly, I have more triggering stuff to like talk about in JW world. After this, probably around like 4:15 or just whenever this stream ends, I'm going to do the monthly When I Remember members only stream. And we're going to be doing some research about a scoop that someone kind of tipped me off to. It's not a leak necessarily, but I haven't seen anybody talk about it. But it's going to involve, you know, looking through some court documents relating to Mr. Gary Bro, who you know if you're an ex-Jehovah's Witness, and it's triggering. So this weekend, like really starting, I think on Friday, was it? I've been trolling through really triggering stuff, and I just feel crazy. And I'm realizing I forgot my goddamn water in the other room. So, what I want to do is talk about some Anthony Morris stuff that's actually been deleted from the website. A lot of stuff is because he was removed from the organization. A lot of his videos aren't available. It's a little hard to discern why exactly they're removing some things and leaving others. Some things, as we've talked about on the channel, have actually been refilmed with another guy. Like Gage Flegel refilmed something that Anthony Morris, like a talk that Anthony Morris gave on the importance of the governing body. But there's a fair amount of stuff. So let's see. I'm going to lean in real close awkwardly because I'm looking at this tiny thumbnail like, ugh. Let's see. Which is the one that I want to... Why does this look like it's Kenneth Cook and not Anthony Morris?
We look for...
Oh, I think it's... Okay, yes, this is the one I wanted. Removed from the governing body. Yes, my bad. Removed from the governing body. So... Yeah, and actually, let's talk about this for a second. I think that the unfortunate thing that I have come to feel, maybe it's not true, but to use a JW catchphrase, it is reasonable to assume. I don't think that we have as many PMOs as we would like to think, because it does seem to me if we had a lot of people within the organization, PMO, if you don't know, means physically in, mentally out. So most people, when they realize they're in a cult, they don't just leave the next day. You're in a captive organization. You have to make plans to leave. And most people start, people in positions of power, like elders, maybe they'll leak elders' letters to ex-witnesses. And we get those, like every month. They always leak early because there's so many PMO elders. And we get them from branches around the world, but we still haven't heard anything about Anthony Morris. Like he's just going to a normal congregation. We haven't heard any concrete details, and certainly I would think that they have like non-disclosure agreements. My theory, like as soon as I finished reading Crisis of Conscience for the first time, I was like, oh, I guarantee you they make governing body members sign non-disclosure agreements. After the Ray Franz book, because Ray Franz is a former governing body member who woke up, as we say, and wrote a tell-all book and has like documents in there and everything. It's crazy the amount of stuff he's able to reveal about the organization. Falling Sour, yeah. I think there's this narrative sometimes that, well, if all of the PMO people just stood up and walked out, there'd be hardly anyone left. And it's like, I don't think we have any evidence to support that. It seems to me that if there were so many PMOs, hey, buddy. Okay. Oh my god. Bo is being a sweetie. Hi, sweetie. Oh my. He really likes it when I edit in here. And he likes coming up and giving me little hugs. The rest of the time, he's a complete asshole. I don't know if that comes through on camera at all. Okay, I need to grab my water. I'm going to start playing this. We'll hear Garrett Loesch's introduction. And ooh, I know what else I want to do. I need to grab my notebook so I can write down some timestamps, because I want to make more edits of this guy. I haven't finished my, awkward Tony Morris edit. And so I want to write down some timestamps. If he throws that down, any C's. God damn it, Bo. All right. Actually, let me show you. Let's see. Before I show you this Tony Morris thing, let's watch this preview, just a silly little montage of what I'm hoping to call the McAllen cut of Tony Morris.
No man, see. But as for me, see the anchor, see. Oh, see, just loved each other, see. Job and his wife. See. Because you're wrapped in smoke. See. The Almighty Jehovah God. See. One act. See. One act, and I'll give you all of this. See, folks, see, but it's not gone yet. See, reunions like this one, see, wonderful, 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 wonderful future. So Jesus, he it's going to happen as an anchor. Now,
Okay, you get the idea. You get the idea. Yes, please like the stream. Please subscribe to Sunday Service and subscribe to my funny edit channel where such things will reside in the future. If you go to my channel information, the links are in there. And you can like and subscribe. All right. Enough of that silliness. Let's watch this dude in the raw, unedited Tony Morris, and these come courtesy of avoidjw.org, by the way. Good point by Villain of the Year. Not all PMOs are part of the XJW community either. Some don't believe all are part of it, but never connect with us. Anti-apostate fear runs deep. Yeah, that's true, and a really good point that if a PME was in Tony's congregation, they would out themselves quickly no matter how discreet they tried to be. Yeah, it would not be safe for a PMO to speak up. That's a really good point. And thank you to Frank Claro for the super chat. Appreciate you. Thanks for doing these live streams each Sunday. It's the only thing keeping me sane. Or slowly making me go insane. I'm not sure yet.
We look forward to Brother Anthony Morris' thoughts presented in his talk entitled, "We Have Work to Do."
Amazing. If you've seen my Anthony Morris YouTube poop that I made, I ended up going with Sam Hurd introducing him, but I already had the idea of Tony Morris rapping, and I wanted someone to introduce him as being my only white friend, and I have it edited with Garrett Loesch, and I just ended up being funny with Sam Hurd for obvious reasons.
it was a great pleasure to hear all of the excitement when the Ramapo project was announced to all of you here, and I'm sure that was true for the other thousands that are tied in. And then you saw with these videos all the construction projects going on all over the
He looks a lot younger here, and he's talking about Ramapo. I wonder how long ago they announced it.
year. So it's quite interesting. You think about it now from an imperfect human perspective, frankly, not thinking spiritually. You say, well, we just dedicated the Warwick property along with Wallkill recently. Now here we go.
Here we go.
Down
Here
the road.
we go.
You know? Well, the preaching work obviously is premier. And that's what this is really about, the preaching work.
And as far as I know, let me rephrase that. I don't think we know if Gage Flegel or Jeffrey Winder have kids. I don't think so. But yeah, Anthony Morris was the only one on the governing body who had children, which is pretty interesting, considering how much advice they give to children and parenting. And yet, the only guy who had kids they kicked out. And so now it's like these single, I don't know, like MGTOW types who are old and creepy running the group, telling parents how to raise their kids as perfect little Jehovah's Witnesses.
To support the preaching work.
And a lot of them weren't raised as witnesses, by the way.
Precious sheep the way he wants them fed.
Precious sheep.
It involves all this construction. So God wants us to have it clear. we want you to spread this, and of course it'll come up in January. Keep in mind, we have work to do. Period. So get over it.
Period.
Don't get me going on.
What did he say that made everybody laugh? By the way, I can't speed this one up because it's not on the website, and StreamYard's player doesn't have those controls. What did he say that made everyone laugh? Jeez.
In January, keep in mind, we have work to do. Period. So get over it. Don't get me going on vacation. I'll just tell you, and I know my friends on the governing body, and not that you need your time, I'm not trying to put you on a guilt trip, but we got a whole lot of days. Because how do you, with the work that's going on, how do you try to rest up when you can, and Jehovah wants us to, but we have so much work to do.
That's cool to hear, Mariah.
So just to give...
That's, to that end, I forgot to mention, I don't have many mods, and, none of us are... Well, I just got paid $5, actually, so that's not true. But I can't pay mods or anything, so if you see people starting to veer off who, maybe didn't see the opening disclaimers, try and let them know to cool it or report them or something. I'll obviously try and pick off any trolls if I see any.
Scriptural reminder.
Just keep it chill.
The proper attitude about work. Find John chapter 5. And these are very familiar verses to all of you, particularly.
Well, shit. Okay, let's. First of all, brain blast. These are familiar verses, or this is a familiar verse. Not a bad supercut idea, because they say that shit all the time. And then they also say, and we say that a lot. That we say that a lot. We say that this is a familiar verse, but this is really a familiar verse. Well, the other thing is that his ability to just be like, so get over it. It's obviously the most off-putting thing about him, but it was also very effective for a lot of people. I think that I had a level of respect for that before I saw his tight pants talk, and then I really did not like him after that. His infamous tight pants talc.
The audience here in Newburgh, all these decades of faithful service, and we treasure.
Buttering them up, too. Buttering up the audience.
Jehovah certainly does. And you've worked hard for decades. A lot of you I was talking to earlier, decades in the traveling work. So many wonderful, hardworking brothers and sisters. So here he is, Jesus, in John chapter 5, facing these judgmental...
Jesus fucking Christ, skip past it. I'm going to skip past the scripture.
To it that we have all this work.
Look at he's still going.
Very familiar, verse 58 of 1 Corinthians 15.
God in heaven. Stop reading the Bible. What are you, some kind of fucking preacher? The Bible's just very boring, and you can just see how...
Hard-working spirit, and that's what he wants from his people. Now, with all of the announcements and the videos with construction going on, I just thought I'd share this with you. It's a very special item of mine, and comes up recently. It's
I think that the only reason why I had any perception of him is because we saw him give a talk at one of our conventions or assemblies. But that's kind of a good point. We didn't really see much of him before that. Although, I think I remember him from the intro to the Caleb and Sophia thing, which did happen before the tight pants talk, if I'm not mistaken. Although I might be. Hello, darling.
See here best you can. The camera can pick it up. And up here it says...
You want to say hi?
Hi. Hi, Peachy.
Hello. Peach says hi. She doesn't like being on camera, but sometimes she just can't help it.
She's just so darn cute.
She's so darn cute. Just like you.
You.
Yo.
Yo, yo.
All right. Take this cup away from me, Lord. Oh, shit.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's Peach's fault. We'll punish her. No.
I'll take it out on her then.
Praise to Peaches.
Building permit. And it's a special memory for me personally, because because as we had in some of the videos,
Special memory and a building
when we were
permit.
involved with the construction, or before construction started with the Warwick project, it'd be at Tuxedo, a lot of work going on in preparatory.
Spit it out,
for that day,
Tony.
when they could get started. So the governing body would do their best to get up and be encouraging, always wearing the high-vis outfits, and then give a spiritual talk. I think
Legit
it's the
good
only
idea.
time I've given a talk in high-vis, and so this particular day was special because things were moving.
That's the thing
along.
with him. Okay, he's just apparently going to ramble for 20 minutes to introduce reading one part of a building permit. So I'm just going to mute him, and we'll just see if we can follow his train of thought when we unmute. I think, honestly, that a lot of witnesses like the tight pants thing. It made him feel like that silly old man that didn't know what Spanx were. I remember my mom really not liking that talk. I remember a lot of people in my immediate circle thinking it was kind of out of pocket, you know? But that was always the thing with Tony Morris, is that he is love him or hate him. And even, like, after that, he would win me over sometimes with his, I don't know, kind of folksy, stern grandpa charm.
Day, and there were a lot of things going on. So I'm up there. It's July 26th.
Seems like
is up here
completely,
in
we didn't miss a single
corner.
thing.
It's a Friday, and it's the year 2013. No, quite a while ago.
Okay.
So
okay. Get
I have
to
a
it.
talk to give to him at 1:30 after visiting some. 2 hours before. So it must
Humor
have been
was
around
really
11:30.
dry.
They got the building permit. So
Same.
the construction project committee, and how much we love those men and their wives.
Oh, how much we love
they're
those
there.
men.
They thought, well, would you mind making
Shit,
this
that's pretty
announcement?
good. What timestamp is this? We know how much we love men. My handy dandy notebook. This is my not a cult notebook I've been using. If you want to see me trying to work out the actual calendar of when things happen in the story on what day. But I also sometimes just use it as a little scratch pad for bullshit I'm working on, and I'm putting 7:46. We love men. Good deal. Let's just also consider this poop spotting, and I think that's a perfect name for it. We're just poop spotting, funny edit spotting. I think I watched the first little bit of this because I had that part of him fumbling with the paper, but I'm now remembering why I didn't watch the rest, because he bored me to tears.
And I thought, boy, that timing worked out good. That's quite an honor. No construction.
Write that down,
and
too.
shovel in the ground announcement. So give him a little spiritual side. You know, it's a little glory's all right for a human sometimes. You know. so it was
What?
very exciting, and then, but the memory is clear, and those that were there, because the operation of Holy Spirit and the brothers being aglow with the Spirit, industrial.
Aglow. He's the guy who, like, the first 30 seconds of his TikTok are him, like, kind of, like, messing with the thing and, like, trying to, not sure if he was recording, and be like, okay, so here's and I got it, what's going on is, and, you know, it was 2013. Like, he's not, I don't know. Yeah, he's not a succinct guy. Yeah, I knew witnesses who were like, I can't watch his face. I can't watch his face when he talks. But then I also knew witnesses who'd be like, what? How can you say that? He's so lovable. He's like a human Muppet man.
When they made the announcement, I'm telling you, and those that were there, the joy, the thunderous applause.
today?
That wasn't anything to do with me. It was they got the shovel in the ground. And the excitement. So I was able to easily walk out of there, and they're all busy, thrilled over shovel in the ground.
And the
approval.
first guy to hit that shovel in
No.
the ground was Stanley Yelnats. He digged the most amazing hole I ever did seen.
You believe the end's coming?
That was a good stutter.
What are you doing all this for?
916.
If the end's really close, what are you doing? Well, the end's going to come when Jehovah's satisfied with the preaching, but also a reminder here in Revelation chapter 7. This is always something you can forget. I noticed Brother Butler touched on it in his opening prayer.
But, he said the word but.
We don't.
Keep an eye out for that. Good God, with this fucking long-ass scripture reading bullshit. This might be a dud. Is this a dud of a talk?
We eagerly look forward to taking place. The Great Tribulation, it's close. However,
it's close.
As we eagerly await, we want to have Jehovah's mind on the matter.
I'm going to look up when Ramapo was announced.
And I think with all of those here, because here at least at Newburgh, so many years in the truth, especially corporate members and their mates if they're married, this watchtower we want to share with you from 1976. Profound statements. Just
I'm seeing stuff going back to 2022
about this matter of the end, and it shows you where we are in the stream of time. And Jehovah's Spirit was on him, not inspired, but he captured it. With them, helping them, and it was
his spirit was upon him, not inspired. But then what? What? So what? It's so weird. I think they would be so much better off if they were just like, yeah, we just talk to God, and what we say is inspired. It just is. I mean, if they're going to make apologies for plot holes in the Bible, which they say is inspired, then why not? It just is confusing, all these layers of whether or not something is inspired but directed by Holy Spirit, but angels are involved, but that doesn't mean it's actually from God. And so we might be able to make mistakes, but also you got to trust everything we say.
To this day. Now notice what 76, November 15th Watchtower said. Pages 688, 689.
Fucking read it.
In the 17th paragraph, notice, quoting it, the end does not come just because we might think it is the due date, or because we feel that our territory has been well worked. It comes when Jehovah has carried through the great work of kingdom preaching to the extent...
This is an excellent summation of Toni Morris's charm. I think this is right. This is what it felt like to me as a witness. Lava Blue says the thing about Morris is he made you feel like you were getting the inside scoop, like a special level of access, even though you had to listen through all the rambling. Yeah, it was kind of like, let's get down to business to defeat the Huns. And of course, on cue, Christina started singing because I knew. Because I know what we're doing.
He wants. And then he will bring the Great Tribulation. Now listen, back 1976. Until that time, there is work to do.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And we as Jehovah's Witnesses are the ones assigned to do it. The arrival of the Great Tribulation should find the preaching work at the height of its forward movement, at the very peak of its moment.
Okay, I agree. This kind of doesn't work. Let's not hear him talk. There's a really funny one where it really seems like he's drunk. That was a really boring talk. There's a really funny morning worship where he's just talking about like a picture of a panther. I think this might be it. Let's see. Let me see. Is this where he talks about the picture? Yes. Okay. This is really good. It's really hard to figure out what the hell he's talking about here. He starts talking about how people's dreams are being impacted by COVID.
The scripture, Jehovah, of course, he's our creator, so
our creator.
He well knows how we are
talking about
formed.
A creator.
But this expression, remembering that we are dust, that in no way is intended to demean us or strip us of dignity. Jehovah's considerate, whether we're male or female. We can't say.
I've got all these clips. Don't worry. These are in the bag.
He does understand, and he's considerate of us. So you think about these times we're living in. It affects God's people as well. You see the pandemic causing people, according to some reports, to have even their dreams affected. So you think of how busy we are, the governing bodies doing the best to give direction to other branches, specific direction related to their particular circumstances. So you could get involved in just focusing on all of these problems. But this morning I've chosen to focus on the future. And I believe that's what...
I think it's very unlikely Tony Morris is going to in-person meetings. I do wonder about that. It's always a possibility that he just does Zoom, because there's like an uncomfortable level of focus that would be on him. I really wonder, because even in Ray France's case, like, he writes about how he went to meetings for a while after he left, but he just started to hear everything differently. You know, he and several other people in Bethel during that kind of purge were kicked out because they disagreed with a key doctrinal thing. I actually can't quite remember what it is. Was it about partaking at the memorial? Some mixture of that and the nature of the faithful and discreet slave, and the fact that the organization was teaching that all the anointed people on earth were the faithful and discreet slave, when in reality, practically, it was just the governing body. And then, like, shortly after Ray France died, they officially changed it in 2011. Almost like a really dark concession that he was right.
Jehovah would want us to do. Let's face reality, but focus on the future. And by doing that, we're really benefiting from the counsel in Isaiah chapter 48.
Stop it with this nonsense.
Know what's going on. We get the good reports from the governing body as well as the branch committee here in the U.S., and Canada's doing the same. But see, it's good to focus on the future, especially if you start to feel anxious about circumstances.
Would he start his own cult? I think he would be successful if he did. The question is, what is his perspective on what happened? We don't know what happened. Probably, I mean, just knowing everything we know about this guy and how sudden it was and how much stuff of him they had filmed before he was removed, it seems that probably his ego got fired up in the process. He gave that weird talk about people being puffed up with smoke, and Satan's not going to like that I'm giving this talk, but there are people who are coming after the governing body. It's a really weird one. And I think the question is, like, how does he feel now? Does he feel humbled? Like, did the scales fall from his eyes? Or does he feel aggrieved and, like, I really do have the truth and they don't? And that's the question, I guess, is how, what is his take on it? I just desperately want to know what happened in any way. But boy, it really feels like, short of him saying something or an actual, like, governing body helper waking up, it's going to be a while before we know.
I thought I'd share with you some comments from the Pure Worship book. What a gift that was for all of Jehovah's people.
What a gift that was.
Some of these comments are coming from chapter 9, paragraphs 35 and...
I want to hear him talk about the painting. This is what's fun, not this. Okay.
Forest? Well, that's what Jehovah promises.
Oh, let's hear
the
it.
Forest.
Oh, forest.
Well, that's what Jehovah promises. Can you picture that? Well, our hardworking art department has helped us a lot. Notice this beautiful piece of artwork found in the Pure Worship book. Now, you have to, with the larger one on a television screen, you see it easier. Sometimes you look at this picture, you have the fireflies there going around, full moon, it's beautiful.
Full moon.
With the larger picture, you're not going to miss what so many could miss by not focusing on the beautiful picture here and the details in it. Because up above her now, you'll see her.
He took so many words just to say, there's a lot of details in this picture, so let's stop and look at it. He's like, in the big screen TV, if you had a TV, you could see the details that you might otherwise miss, because there's a lot of details. You see the details, and you might miss them.
Sleeping securely, young sister here, and the
A
tree's
young
right
sister.
above her head, but do you see what's right up above there? If you look carefully, there it is, a leopard. And it could be
It's not a leopard. It's not. It's a panther. I'm almost certain that is a panther. And you also don't have to look carefully. It's very obvious that there's a panther there. It's not hidden. It's not like one of those drawings where it's like, oh, it's either a rabbit or a duck, depending on how you look at it. It's like, no, it's a painting of a girl sleeping underneath a tree where there's a panther and an owl. And I'm not looking at this on a very big screen.
So easily, especially in the book we have. And you got to see his left arms hanging there.
Left arm
female,
hanging.
for sure. But it's a leopard.
Oh, he gave another male or female. I don't know for sure. That's good. That's one I can use.
And he's sleeping. She's
right. Okay, that... Yes, this is what's notable about what he's doing. He's like, our art department painted this. Let's really dissect it. And he's talking about it like it is photographic evidence of what paradise is going to be like. But it isn't. And he's one of the people that was always like pushing that thing of like, go ahead and use your imagination. Imagine a new world. Really think about it. And he must have really spent a lot of time fantasizing about the new world. It's just hot in this room. But yes, it did get some sun.
You could just hear some of the sounds of other insects that might be in the forest
other
here.
insects. And he says sex. That's good. I'm always looking for clips of them saying sex at 6 minutes and 19 seconds.
Secure. Amazing. And then over to the right of the picture as we look at it, see the owl? Not a worry at all. Now you're looking at the leopard.
The owl
thinking, well,
is
animals
not
don't
worried.
think like humans, maybe he's saying,
Humans?
there he is asleep already again. But everybody's
really anthropomorphizing animals and projecting a lot of thought, like, oh, there he is asleep again, just me and Al, and I'm not worried because he just eats straw now. Also, that's not a leopard, that's a panther. Oh yeah. Yes. Well, Howie Rutledge Tran, one of the unsung XJWs, in my opinion. I really, really like his interview with Lloyd Evans. Obviously, the Lloyd Evans is not what's good about the interview, but Howie Rutledge Tran's interview, he's an ex-Bethelite, and he was he worked in Bethel forever, and he worked personally with, which brother was it, who was kind of old and infirm. It wasn't Guy Pearce. Jarrett's? It wasn't. It was a different one. Somebody will be able to say something. So he's got a really, really amazing Bethel stories. And he talks about the alcoholism among some governing body members. And the guy that he was taking care of, had whiskey or vodka in his cereal or something. Oh boy.
secure. Now, that's going to happen in the future. Jehovah
Barber.
promises it. So how grateful we are for this beautiful piece of artwork.
Might have been.
Let that just absorb every cell in your body. Absorb
every-
beautiful thought.
Observe
meditate on it.
it.
Especially as there's so many that love the outdoors. Others that maybe grew up in cities, you're going to learn to love it. That'll assure you will. But that's the future Jehovah
Hey,
has
papi.
for his people. Meditate on it.
What a gift. What a gift for his people is this painting of a fake thing based on our pretty unique interpretation of the Bible, drunk Mr. Rogers. Yeah, that's pretty wild. It is a beautiful fantasy painting. Bosif. Oh, my bad.
So we entreat you to focus on the future.
Entreats you.
And more opposition's coming. Let's face the
Oh.
facts. There are issues that we're going to have to deal with. We'll just wait and see. But see, don't focus on the problems. Deal with it. Follow the direction
Oh.
from the organization. These are critical times. They are hard to deal with. But focus on Jehovah's promises for the future.
Okay. Ooh, this is a good one because, yeah, good point, by the way. You can go outside right now. This is such a sticking point of mine, is they show all these nature pictures of, like, this is what paradise is going to be like. It's like, it's what the world is already like. You can go there because obviously someone went there and filmed it, idiot. And, yeah, I had a hard time with understanding insects from the conception of, like, God's perfect creation and like how that's going to work in the new system. I hate bugs. I honestly, that one speaker that I played a clip of in a video who was like, I don't like bugs. I agree with him. I think bugs are awful. And mosquitoes are especially awful. I was stung by a bee like 2 weeks ago on 4th of July for the first time since I was like a little kid. That bee was all over me. Yeah, deal with it, get over it. Exactly. Okay, well that... I honestly just have this chair here at this point because Bo will hang out. He'll just hang out. Yeah, buddy. All right. Let's see. What else? Vidya this was also removed from JJ. Was it?
I would first like to read to you.
Why was it out of sync? Hey. Don't start knocking stuff off the shelves.
There's some passages from the Bible found at Ephesians chapter 3, verses 14 through 19.
Great point. What is the point of bed bugs? We need toe beans. And he really has the best toe beans. They're my favorite.
This will also establish the theme for my comments this month. Ephesians 3, starting with verse 14. Paul said, "For this reason I bend my knees to the Father, to whom every family in heaven and on earth owes its name."
Yeah, okay. Good God. Did you read the whole book of Ephesians?
My theme, namely, glorify Jehovah, the one to whom every family owes its name. The family unit
Proof?
is
Source?
under a vicious attack in these last days.
Oh, family. Families. Their fucking families are under attack. So many people want to destroy the ideas of families. I don't know if I can watch this one. I almost fucking got into it yesterday with this guy who was counter-protesting. One guy was there at this event. And, he started, he just went up to somebody who was there and was like, this guy's gay. And I was like, what the fuck's wrong with you, piece of shit? I started cursing at this guy. I got really mad. It's bringing back bad memories. All right, Tony Morris, you're fucking triggering us. And frankly, I don't know, are the tight pants remarks going to be much better? Okay, let's look at something else. There's... They're always so subtle on the website, It's not cynical at all, the way they choose their news stories. Okay. Where's the what's new thingy? Look at this fucking dumbass face. And this scary face. Good lord. Are there any new videos that seem kind of fun, or no? Not really. I'm trying to think, God damn it, what's not triggering? What's not triggering? Let me see. I know what we can do. Well, I could watch that atheist video that everyone's telling me to watch about going to a Kingdom Hall, but honestly, I kind of haven't wanted to watch anything that takes place at a Kingdom Hall. All right. Stage. Sorry, I promise this is going to be worth it. Allegedly. Alleged by me. I want to find a good old school Watchtower thing. So this, is this showing up? Yeah. Okay. Okay, the Kingdom Hall video is good. So this is what, this channel is actually kind of awesome. You can see I'm subscribed. An old 16mm film print from 1966, shown at Kingdom Hall's assemblies and even local TV. Production quality on par with films made for school classrooms from 1950s to 70s. JW.org has come a long way since with their present-day video production, but possibly this was hired out. Very much a 1960 time capsule. I really like this. It's just run by somebody who is a witness and is just collecting this stuff for fun. Let's see what this is. I might get to use my old-timey news voice. And then we'll watch Heliocentric. We'll react to Heliocentric's reaction. Oh god, I wasn't expecting it to start like this. Jesus. Keep it down, background noise. I'm kind of scared. This is like the beginning of Get Out. Walking down a scary street at night. What is this?
Why is
What?
the world we live in a world full of hatred, violence, fear?
It is like
A
the
world
beginning of Get Out.
Competition, seeking attention. It is a world seeking pleasure and excitement.
I don't think they would pan down to the woman's ass in a modern production. I don't think they would do that. Oh my god. Truly.
But in spite of outward appearances, for far too many it is a world of loneliness, of frustration, and unsatisfied.
First of all, she actually looks like my sister. Sad, Jehovah's Witness eyes and all.
Generation.
Sorry, sis, if you're watching. You'll be happier if you
Why
leave.
do many fear loneliness? Do they somehow
Just boomers
sense
living in the
loneliness
moment.
breeds insecurity and frustration?
Wow,
Is it-
showing actual, like, cigarette smoking. You can't even do that in PG-13 movies anymore. It's so stupid.
It's their only heritage in life.
Heritage. Evangelicals and the word heritage. Name a more iconic duo. Oh. Oh my god. No, they would definitely never show kissing.
Well, I don't know. How else can you find out? I just feel like getting everything I can out of life.
Me too. But I want a nice life. A happy one.
I want a nice life. I don't want to submit to sexual relations. It's ever so hard. I think I'll prefer to go home and study scripture on my lonesome.
I wish someone would really tell me.
People want the answers, but they don't always show it, and generally will not admit it. Often
Behold, a very realistic scene of young teenage boys in full Jehovah's Witness get-up drinking from empty liquor bottles. A terrifyingly familiar scene on today's freeway roadsides, right by the side of the road.
Their air of self-confidence conceals a deep-rooted need for attention. Their
Thank you,
loneliness
Queen of
and
Flatulence,
insecurity
calling us beautiful and
drive them
amazing
into
people.
conformity, rather than into becoming the individual they claim to be.
I want my husband to work one part-time job and we can afford a 3-bedroom house.
And when I get on the road, those cops get out of the way. I'll take off so fast, they need a jet to catch.
Come off it, man. This car will catch anything on the road.
Come off it, man.
What car you said? You said yourself he hasn't even said hello to you for 3
This
weeks.
sloppy jalopy can't push 5 horsepower, I tell ya.
Come on, man. Will you quit the bragging? Let's rock it.
Once a young person feels committed to a way of life, what can he do? To change takes courage. It takes conviction that his present course is frustrating and dangerous.
Conviction that his present course is frustrating. I don't know what that means. Convince yourself that you are frustrated by your lot in life.
Where can he turn for the answers?
It's my family. It's just my family. That's how loud they talk to each other in cars, sitting still. The production value is honestly better than modern day. I know it. I think that the person who posted this might be right that they outsourced the production because it's pretty good. It is comparable to other like edutainment films of the time. Whoa, this is like fucking David Lynch shit.
If she hadn't always made me feel so alone. I'm so mixed up. I can't face it. I'd rather be dead.
Oh my god. This is like fucking Ronit Pulaski and Twin Peaks.
What is the tragedy taking place among so many young people of our generation? A young person is not usually bad unless he's been molded that way by his environment. His life...
They say his, even though they just showed a woman.
His
so stringent they were on that.
If that foundation fails him, what does he have to fall back on? If there's no parental love present to secure that foundation, it can...
Bit lazy to just talk over 5 straight minutes of waves.
Even destroy him.
I think this is probably one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Not all frustration leads to complete disaster.
I just want to
But what of all those who are unhappy?
Thank you, Tara Johnson.
Who know there's something better. Who have hidden hopes and ideals.
I always get the creeps when I come home to this empty house. It's like
oh my
everybody
god.
was dead.
She just said, I always get the creeps when I come home to this empty house. This, I mean, is this analog horror? There's a kind of Rosemary's Baby vibe to this.
Home to this empty house. It's like everybody was dead.
Like everybody was dead. Good God.
Billy, don't you know you can't mess with the kitchen things?
Mother's probably off making an impression someplace at one of her clubs.
What just happened? This is fucking analog horror.
Mother's probably off making an impression someplace at one of her clubs.
Good God.
I wonder if Daddy will be home late as usual. I'd almost be glad if he'd beat me. At least he'd give me some attention.
I want Daddy to beat me because at least he'd be showing me attention.
Maybe someday I shouldn't even bother to come
With
home.
the piano?
Many parents are home. But is that enough? Children need attention.
No. They must all be home.
Every day
all of
there's
them,
an
all the
excitement
time.
Of accomplishment. Minor tragedies to meet. And they need someone to share them with. A series of disappointments, separating father and son, can start the child down that lonely road that plunges him into frustration.
Frustration is apparently the worst thing that can ever happen to a person.
Children need guidance and training. If these are withheld for any reason, confidence in the parent is lost.
Yeah. They live in an amazing house and have amazing clothes.
Just one day.
They're fine. They're doing
My
fine.
girlfriends were coming over for a party, and I wanted to bake some cookies.
Love can turn to hate.
Help me with that?
It's the
Or be
pictures who got
misdirected
small.
into some perverted channel.
Come on, get up.
I mean, that
Get
got
up,
small.
come
God damn
on.
it. Sunset
No wonder
Boulevard. That's what I was
Daddy
going
left you.
for.
You old drunk.
A busy world demands much of our time. A whole family together like this one is rare. What an opportunity.
Yeah, they look so happy.
What's this? Just a family quarrel? No, it is far more serious than that.
What's
What
this?
is it doing to this family? Can you
A mere squabble among kin? Nay.
Angry? Can you do your homework or household chores? Could you face your schoolmates or business associates tomorrow?
No, obviously they all quit their jobs and quit school tomorrow because they're all so ashamed of an argument at the dinner table.
Would you even want to see tomorrow? How can anyone...
This is actually in the Texas Public School curriculum, I learned.
Even an hour with this atmosphere. Your future can even die here. Older children...
Okay. I mean, I'm glad that he didn't really hit her, but they didn't even do, like, a stage slap. He just, like, touched her,
with this atmosphere.
her face.
Your future can even die here. Older children may run to the street for refuge, but where can this little one go?
Why, to the Kingdom Hall, of course.
Escape from loneliness travels many streets, and some, as we've seen, are a dead end.
And are these kids, like, at Shea Stadium watching the Beatles now?
One child guidance authority.
I mean, this is 66. Be right. What would they have with this? They'd still be touring in 66.
Authority called it a very destructive process in which adults allow the children to be involved.
Oh.
Youth has always tended toward rebellion. But there is a tragedy in this generation's revolt against what is normal. And as
apropos to the way we started this, this kind of fear-mongering about how horrible things are with the family and, I don't know, this, like, religious evangelical worldview trying to make America a certain way. It's the same old shit. It's the same old shit. They just got different stock footage and different creepy videos, but the message is the same.
The fads become more extreme. Some may seem harmless enough, but the current
that felt a little
trend
too
calls
real.
For serious concern. Other generations of young people have rebelled too, but they've had strong family ties, neighborhood ties, national ties. They knew they could
international
always come back
ties
home when they got tired of trying to rebel. Today,
comic
they don't
books,
have these ties.
telephones,
within the next 60 seconds,
bangs. Just a close up on a girl having bangs. Skateboards.
Somewhere in the United
What's
States
next?
will be strained to the breaking
Social
point.
media.
It is a pattern repeated every minute. And for each home that breaks, there are hundreds more in every community that are merely
8 p.m.
building along.
Okay.
It is not surprising, then, that from this heritage, we have a generation of teenagers set adrift, unsure, looking for something.
But this time it's true.
But
Gen
not
Z
knowing
really
what.
is worse than my generation. No, I'm just kidding.
Many young persons today have nothing to go back to, and it shakes their security. Would you want anyone you know to face such a danger without assistance?
Oh my. These people are still serving in 2024, by the way.
I'm so glad I do have something to fall back on. I know some of my own schoolmates have faced some of the problems you've just seen. It disturbs me very much. But
I like that. So this is still the same kind of detached, stilted way that they talk in their demonstrations and interviews. But as a big Mystery Science Theater fan, I've seen a bunch of these old-timey, like, education videos. And they all are kind of like this. And it almost makes me wonder if it's because, in the governing body's eyes, like, this is when they were cutting their teeth. And this is what sounds normal to them. Like, this is what good propaganda sounds like. And that's why, despite whatever modern trappings, like editing techniques and CGI stuff they use, it still kind of has this, like,
I am glad that I didn't go down this terrible path to cigarettes and comicking books.
But my father and mother have been very kind to me. They have given me a standard to live by. They have introduced me to a source of right principles and security
I got to see,
I never want to be without.
A couple years before I left The Witnesses, I got to go with my nephew and my... Oh, he's not my nephew. He technically, I guess, is a cousin, but we call him a nephew. Got to take him and, like, a couple of my aunts. We went to see Mystery Science Theater live. It was the... like, Joel introduced it, but it was the, it was the new guys on the Netflix seasons, and they did a live riffing of EGA, which is my favorite Mystery Science Theater movie. It was amazing, and I think maybe the hardest I've ever laughed in my life is at Riff Tracks live screening. It's genuinely the funniest shit in the world. They're so good at what they do.
And I feel somehow that I should do something too.
Oh, Touch of Satan
That
is
why
unbelievable.
You may see me sometime
So
calling
good.
at one of our neighbors, like you see me doing here. To see me, you might think she's probably borrowing a cup of sugar or going to see a girlfriend. But I'm doing something that I enjoy.
She's either baking or a lesbian.
More than anything else in the world. I'm talking to them about the security I feel in life. I'm talking to them about the Bible.
With like the cartoon
That's
Fallout
my
guy.
girlfriend. I studied the Bible in my spare time with her in her home for a while. And now
Truly
she's
is.
going along with me. She was all mixed up.
That's an interesting phenomenon because, and it led to some cognitive dissonance, right? Because I love Mystery Science Theater. It was something that was like, recommended to me by Witness family who were nerds about that stuff. And so I watched like Touch of Satan and, what's the Joe Estevez one that they talk about, or no, it's Emilio Estevez, like Spirit Walker. Oh God, but there's a lot of Satan ones. Devil Doll is one of my favorites, and that doesn't bother your conscience as a witness because it's like, well, this is a cheesy fake movie, so the demonism isn't real, and we're making fun of it. But that just kind of told me, well, then obviously no movie is demonic because it's all fake. It's just like whether or not their special effects are better, the acting is better, it doesn't mean that the demons are real. It's not like all of the actors and production people and the guy holding the boom mic are all possessed because they worked on The Exorcist or something. So that never added up. Anyway, it's been a tangent.
Up at one time, but now we sure have good times together.
Yeah,
Children
she sounds like
whose
she's having a
home life
blast.
is complete or satisfied, like this young French girl. Security in the home
Why did he say it like
frees
that?
their minds to develop those qualities that will make them mature men and
Freeze
women.
their minds.
The intimacy of such close family ties opens
Ooh.
many opportunities for loving guidance. This
Yeah, that
creates a
looks
secure
awesome.
future for these young ones by giving them a moral code they can rely upon. But is the source of such a moral code just a happy and well-regulated family? What heritage is it that can
What
give a child
heritage?
the stamina to stand up for right principles?
Oh my God, what the
security
fuck?
he must have for a
Stop
happy and
it.
honorable
Why do people
life.
think it's okay to like show babies naked?
This young French boy
Don't
is
do that
talking to
shit.
a stranger. He's talking about the Bible. Why?
Why?
Because it is a part of him.
Is he stupid?
His desires are expressed here.
Does he have some
He's
sort of
found a
malady?
basis for confidence and hope. The Bible is real. It is alive. It's warmth to him.
Yeah,
matter
this is
where
how
he
you
might
can
be,
tell it's something that's aimed at the public to convert them. It's sort of like the strategy that the Awake would use, where they wouldn't always use the word Jehovah because they wanted it to be more like covert in how it tricked people into thinking it wasn't religious propaganda at first.
The Bible is a universal book. In France, or Britain, or the United States, its appeal is to
The
all
3
kinds of
countries in
men.
the universe.
It provides a foundation for men from all walks of life, for men of all nations. Following Bible principles builds a solid family foundation. These principles maintain strong family unity. Bible principles establish the proper relationship of the family members.
They teach us such lessons as wearing a vest all the time, having short hair, pushing a push mower, holding an umbrella in the rain, never borrowing cups of sugar from your girlfriend and instead going out in the ministry.
Mother and son together. They make training a pleasure and work
a pleasure,
a source of accomplishment.
A pleasure and a treasure.
But putting the Bible into your life doesn't mean taking out all the fun.
What kind of...
It really sharpens your zest for everything you do.
Fucked up baseball bat is that?
It adds balance and sanity to living.
Don't worry, King. All right. We shook him up enough.
See, that's a normal baseball bat. What was up with that other one? Looks like when, like, the Tasmanian devil would, like, chew a baseball bat out of a tree.
Come on, Tig. Hey, son. Where'd you get all that steam?
Come on, Tig. You're shaking. You. I can see him shaking. Just burn it past him, Tig.
This is good, isn't it?
Pitcher's got a rubber arm.
You have a mustache.
Tragic unibrow on camera. And then, what is this? What is this supposed to be selling us on? Like, why were we just watching baseball and why are we now watching checkers? I don't know.
There is no substitute for a father and a mother. Children need the companionship of other youngsters.
And you're literally wrong.
And they need love and companionship from their parents. But they need supervision at home even more.
Children need titties
Parents
and cocks
who are interested
in equal
what
measure
their
in their
children are
home
doing,
in order to be raised properly.
Usually have children they can rely upon.
There are only two kinds of humans who can properly raise children. And no, we won't explain.
You just get out of there.
Imagine fucking owning a house and bringing home one thing of groceries in a paper bag. You pay the cashier with like 3 quarters and they don't even actually count it. The money didn't really matter.
She never knew the Bible could be so interesting. That's wonderful.
They strategically cut around anything where they would have had to prove that the Bible is interesting. And they're like, aren't you amazed at how interesting the Bible is?
Alright, I'll go wash my hands.
Okay.
Make it again.
Oh, that's a nice one.
I didn't work over a hot keyboard and abacus all day at the business factory to come home to a lopsided cake. Make it
Children
again.
respond to love. They're not ashamed to show loving attention in return. Is this not a reward in itself to a parent with a realistic...
Why was that guy just rubbing his chest?
Got home just about half hour before you did.
Say, Stevie, how did you make out with that school exam today that you were so worried about?
Oh, that
I French made out with it.
As a matter of fact, I'm sure glad that you helped me with that problem. That's the one that we had.
A closely knit family
Ah,
isn't an
yes.
accident.
Truly
Nor is the tie of
authentic.
kinship enough.
Oh, wow. So this is a real blast from the past. The home Bible study. Many of these scenarios where everyone's gathered around with their little Bibles and watchtowers.
The family that reads the Bible together lives the Bible together.
And all this congregation will know that neither was sword
Yeah, it's
nor
definitely not for a
spear in
birthday.
Jehovah saved.
We know that much.
Because to Jehovah belongs the battle, and he
Oh
must
my.
give you men into our hand.
That's what the kids were doing there, preparing for spiritual warfare by learning checkers.
And drawing nearer to meet
Christendom
David,
is out here playing
David
chess.
began
We're playing
hurrying and running
checkers.
toward the battle line to meet the Philistine. Then David thrust his hand into his bag and took a stone from there and slung it so that he struck the Philistine in his forehead, and the stone
Yeah,
sank into
100%.
his forehead.
Nice family
He
dinners
went
are nice.
falling upon his face to the earth. So David, with a sling and a stone, proved
They look
stronger
utterly bored. They don't look like they're having fun at all.
than the Philistine, and struck the Philistine
Barely
down
putting
and
up with
put
it.
him to death. And there was no sword in David's hand. And David continued running, and got to stand.
This
upon
is
the
how they're
Philistine.
selling it?
Then he took his sword and pulled it out of its sheath, and definitely put him to death when he cut his head off with it.
And this is the section of the Bible where someone gets their head cut off. Why not, like, read something about, I don't know, paradise or whatever,
Got to
nice
see that the
teachings.
mighty one had died, and they took to flight.
Boy, that was good.
But children need more than entertaining Bible stories. They must be trained to think.
I have to say, I don't understand this question. I would need it to be rephrased.
But what does this
The plus
account
ones of the
David's
Israelites, if the
mighty
Bible
deeds
was real
mean to
authority.
you?
I don't know what that
Suppose
means.
you tell us.
Well, Dad, it wasn't really David who saved the Israelites from...
Well, Dad, you see here.
Goliath. He said himself, Jehovah must give you men into our hand.
They just want everything to sound scripted and creepy. Oh God, this goes on for a while. Yeah, let's cut ahead.
Far too. But has the Bible principle of love for neighbor become too old-fashioned?
Okay, boys, let's help going now. Pick up the cans of trash so we can hose down the pavement. The pretty day like this...
I'm an atheist, and I hate my neighbors. Get out of here, you.
You sure you ain't missed something? I want to know all the things I'm not going to do. Man, you drive a hard bargain.
I want to know all the things I'm not gonna do. Where's the beef?
Clean it up. We didn't mess it up. You need washing cars. People ought to
It's one thing we know about people back then. And it's important to say it. Hey, fella.
I wish someday someone would set my old man straight. Who does he think he is anyway?
Joe, I'm sorry, but I sure can't agree with you. I couldn't help but overhear the conversation when I drove in.
I sure can't agree with you. Fathers are lovely fellows. We love our old men. They spank us and terrify us and don't really ever give us a hug or anything. And that's good. As long as you read the Bible and make your kids listen to it. Oh boy. I do. Okay, let's look at this last little bit here. This looks like ministry. Ah, construction project. Oh, it's school.
I'd like to see what the Bible has to say. The standards are pretty sound, you know.
We've broken away from Victorian standards. They're just a guilt complex. Puritanical standards of the Bible.
Okay, so this person is just stupid if she calls the Bible Victorian, so she's just an idiot. That's historically inaccurate, madam.
Well, it is, isn't it?
No, there's nothing narrow-minded.
I say the Bible is fine and decent and lovely.
Very frank. That's why Jehovah's Witnesses study it so carefully. But let me ask you, Billy, how many times have you changed your sense of value?
I couldn't help but overhear a conversation. I'd like to get into an argument with you in public. Is that okay?
It needn't be anyway. It's true the Bible sets a high moral standard, but did you know that...
Yeah, they don't have their worldly people be that based in modern videos.
The Bible is a bad example, and I know you don't want to end up the way those people did.
Oh, I believe in enjoying life.
Hi. Well, so do I.
Why,
laws to enjoy life. My family really enjoys living.
But why isn't the world better then if someone who believes in the Bible? Sure, why not?
Sure.
Follow the Bible. Don't expect the majority of those you meet to really believe its standards. But you can, because thousands of girls our age who are Jehovah's Witnesses are doing it. And if you do, you'll have something that half this world is searching for and not finding.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
A peace of mind and self-respect.
Something
lame
half the world is searching for and not finding. Peace of mind and self-respect.
Wow, American Airlines had a $10,000 salary.
Out of the mouths of children.
No.
But the newer generation speaks only what it learns from the older generation. It may be agony and frustration.
Meanwhile, we cut back to the guy who got stabbed and suicidal woman from Eraserhead. And great, that was amazing. Okay. Well, that was that was pretty amazing and pretty on brand for the channel. Okay, let's watch that video. What's the channel called? The Atheist Kingdom Hall video? I found it. Heliocentric. Oh god, it's half an hour. Are there highlights? This is what all the kids are talking about these days, right here.
Hello? Hello? Does anyone want to talk about religion in here? It's your friendly neighborhood atheist.
You a Jehovah's Witness?
Your friendly neighborhood atheist indeed. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting episode of Atheist Church Audit. My name is Jared, I'm an atheist, and today I collected a whole host of wonderful literature.
You can't read them, can you?
From our friends over at the Watchtower. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, I visited the Jehovah's Witnesses. So this is a unique episode because this time I went to 2 services. I pulled a fast one on them. They didn't come to my door, I went to theirs.
We don't have a rule book here.
Yeah, oh God, there's a lot here. My mind is kind of all over the place with this one. Please bear with me. There were some bombshells that were dropped this time that I really want to touch on. Now, this might strike people as like really poor form, but I don't like doing research on churches before I go to them. I like just raw dogging it. I like going in there totally blind, totally unsuspecting of whatever I'm going to hear, and just embracing it, just sitting there and being bewildered by whatever it is that I hear. All I really knew going into it was what I learned when I was a Christian and, you know, had done my little bit of research on them for apologetic purposes.
Arguments for the existence of God.
So I knew that at one point in time, they believed that only 144,000 people were going to go to heaven. However, that doctrine has either been modified or converted. I knew that they believed that Jesus was crucified on a stake rather than a cross for some reason that's like super relevant to them. And I knew that the Jehovah's Witnesses reject the Trinity and embrace a subordinationist Christology. So they don't believe that Jesus is God. Beyond that, I knew what everyone else
Here's why me and this guy are different, is I've wanted to do a video like this where I talk about what I remember about a thing and then research it, but about the television show Monk. Because it's a show that I was obsessed with and watched all the time, and now I don't remember anything about it. And I want to revisit it. Obviously not on this channel, but just in the future. No, this is really good so far. Sorry that I don't know how to do anything good with my camera ever in my videos.
And I'm probably knocking on your door right now. But yeah, beyond that, I just wanted to go into it totally blind. How do I describe this? Oh gosh, this was weird. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. It was weird. I don't know how to sanitize it. I'm sorry. And if you're a Jehovah's Witness watching this, stay tuned, because the entire sermon in the Watchtower, which if you went to church the same Sunday that I did, you heard the same sermon that I did, and you know that everything that I'm telling you is something that you shouldn't be listening to. So maybe you shouldn't watch this video. I hope I'm gonna, voice my opinions as a dude that you're
Interesting. I like that he said that. I'm assuming that by sermon he means the Watchtower study, which is different from a sermon, because they don't all hear the same Sunday talk necessarily.
Witness to, so if you want to be more informed on how to better witness to a dude like me, you should watch this video.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You seem stressed.
Sorry. Let's back up. If any of you guys remember my criticisms for the Mormon Church, oh my God, this is the ugliest building in the world. I want to die. Help, please send help. I blasted them pretty heavily for how hideous their congregation was. Not the people were beautiful. The church building, the sanctuary. I'm pretty sure I've seen cardboard boxes that are more interesting than the inside of a LDS sanctuary. Now, with that being said, the J-Dubs are giving them a run for their money.
Oh no. Oh, I am glad we're watching this. It's really hard to describe what Kingdom Halls look like. I've discovered, and it's really hard to know how people who didn't grow up with that being their normal would react to it. Because some churches are really beautiful, and some are, extravagant, and some are modest, but they can still be beautiful, and I've never seen a beautiful Kingdom Hall, really, in my life.
They're hideous, and even, like more intentionally hideous. So again, they're totally iconoclastic. There's nothing in the sanctuary
iconoclastic
that are showing the sermon. The sermon that's
I like
in
this
the
guy.
We'll get to that. There's literally just 2, flat screen monitors that show the lyrics of the songs that they're singing and the scriptures that they're reading from, kind of.
Wow. You know what's really wild about this is oh shit, how am I somehow skipping right past the little screenshots?
Send them a run for their money, because they're hideous.
I wanted to pause on the Kingdom Hall. Okay, ours did not look like this. We didn't have these cool panels in the back, but he shows one that looks literally exactly like our Kingdom Hall. This is pretty similar.
Iconoclastic. There's nothing in the sanctuary except for the 2 monitors that are showing the sermon that's in here in the Watchtower. We'll get to that. There's literally just 2 flat screen monitors that show
this. This looks identical to our old Kingdom Hall. The only thing that's different, and now there's a reason for why it looks identical, and that's because they have building plans where they pretty much follow a cookie cutter blueprint, and the design has changed over the years. The modern ones look more like, I don't know, generic banks and potential fast food restaurants. They're built to be able to be easily converted into commercial spaces so that they can flip them for resale value.
the lyrics of the songs
The
that
wood
they're singing
paneling.
and the scriptures that they're reading from, kind of. Let's get to the good part. Let's
The
talk about the good bits
wainscoting.
of this church, because there
Found
are
a good word
things,
recently
but
for
maybe
that.
the good things are good on first glance and then more complicated the longer you look at them. For starters, the first Kingdom Hall that I went to, it was the most integrated church that I've ever been in. I mean, sincerely, it was like every color of the rainbow was there. It was an equal smattering of black people, white people, Hispanic people, Asian people, and it was beautiful to see. I don't necessarily
That's cool.
like, take off points for a church when I see that it's predominantly white or predominantly black, but when a church is able to overcome that and say, hey, no, we're attracting, all people from all nations and we're going to put them in a building together, that's really cool. I mean, truly, I walked into that church and it looked like the wet dream of an HR coordinator's DE&I photo. Now, what I praise these churches for is that the people here were among the most friendly that I've ever met. I mean, just scores of people. Hey, welcome. How are you doing? What's your name? Do you live around here? We're so glad that you came. Here, let me get your phone number. Let's have a little bit of texting back and forth. And the people that I interacted with were all really, really sweet and friendly. Okay, so that's the good. Let's talk about the less than good.
Explain it to me then.
I need to give you guys an overview of how a normal Sunday morning service goes at a Kingdom Hall. Normally, what happens is...
Well, this is Sunday service, but go off. Okay, this is really interesting. I am very much enjoying this video. I like that he gives them their flowers. I think that the diversity of congregations can definitely vary based on the territory, but most of the congregations I went to that were English speaking, obviously the Spanish congregation was mostly Spanish speakers, but even then it was diverse in the sense that you had people from like Mexico and the Dominican Republic and Spain. But that's cool. I like that he did give him friendly vibes, but yeah, Christina watched this and told me a little bit about what he says about the friendliness.
Is somebody gets up there and gives a 45-minute talk or sermon. I think they use the term talk. Now, from what I can gather, I could...
Yeah, this is problematic. He said 45 minutes to half hour, but in all seriousness, they do feel like much longer than half an hour when you're sitting there. And he would have been right if he'd said that like 15 years ago.
So please correct me. The Watchtower doesn't have pastors; they have volunteers, and so it's often a different person who is preaching every single Sunday, which is interesting. So there's a 45-minute talk, and then there is an hour and 15-minute Bible study, which is they go line by line.
I felt like I never had a handle on how long the Watchtower study was supposed to be. But it always felt way too long.
Through a Sunday school lesson provided by the Watchtower. Now, what's cool about this
Sunday
is that
school lesson. I like that he called it that.
Every single Jehovah's Witnesses congregation is reading from in the world at the same time. So there are other high church settings that do this as well, and it gives you a sense of unity, a sense of, hey, we are the worldwide church, we're all reading from the same Bible, we're all studying the same thing, we're celebrating the same holidays, and that, brings us all together. That's cool, that's great. The thing about this, though, is that it is the most off-putting thing, the way that they go through the Watchtower magazine for their hour and 15-minute Bible study. Just zooming out for a minute, I don't know what to make of the interactions that I had with the people there. Now, again, the interactions that I had were very nice and very polite, but there's something like, I want to be careful with my words here because I'm not trying to be mean to these sweet people, but something's off, man. Just something is like notably off.
Oh, this is great. Yeah, I think he's nailing it. Sorry if you hear cats scratching in the background. Yeah, like that kind of niceness, if you go in there because you're desperate for community, it would obviously be exactly what you'd hoped for. But if you're going in there as a person who's relatively satisfied in their life and you're purely just interested in what it is like to be at a Kingdom Hall, I have to imagine it was kind of disarming. I went to just like one church one time when I was like soon after I got disfellowshipped, and people were nice, but people were also not weirdly nice. Like, not everybody was coming up to me, but people were like, oh, hey, I haven't seen you here before. Nice to see you. Like, it felt like people were kind of minding their business. And for me, I appreciated that because I don't like when, now this is going to sound like bullshit, but I promise it's true. I don't like when I feel like singled out in a crowd. That would seem contrary to what doing a live stream is, but all I can say is that the internet is different. It's different.
Like, I gave crap to the Mormon church that I went to a couple months ago because the people there seemed depressed. It seemed like they didn't want to be there. It seemed like they were just so miserable to be alive. The people here were very peppy, and they were happy, and they were smiley, and they were sitting in their seat, and they were listening, and they were content, and it was kind of creepy. And again, if you're one of Jehovah's Witnesses, I hope that you can just listen to my initial experience and take it at face value and glean something from it.
Now, he did some work there, because I noticed that clip that he just showed is from that deleted video that's not on the website. That one from the convention about shunning.
Whole experience felt like everyone there was a paid actor. Case in point was that the people who gave the talk on both Sundays spoke with the exact same cadence.
On both Sundays, did he go through two?
See millions take their stand for true worship.
Now, there's nothing weird or crazy about a specific denomination or a specific discourse community having their own weird way of speaking. That's to be expected. Like when I go to a full gospel church, I expect the preacher to be, swatting at bees. I expect him to get up there and be like, and then Moses went down from the mountain, and then he said to the people. And if I go to my normal non-denominational church, I expect them to sound like, now every eye closed, every head bowed. I want you to look deep in your heart. And if you say, God, I just haven't been living for you. I haven't been giving you my first fruits. I want you to come up to this altar and get right with God. Here.
He nailed it. He nailed it. Great pause face. That's a great observation he made, is that there is a different cadence to different churches. I'm a big fan of this channel right now.
To be as monotone as possible and kind of sound like a voiceover artist. Here, I'm gonna try to do my best impersonation. Whenever Jehovah gives his people an assignment, he expects them to carry.
Wait. I think he's nailing it. I need to slow this down to really get the full effect.
Of it. Whenever Jehovah gives his people an assignment, he expects them to carry it out in an organized way. Jehovah.
Oh my God. This is devastating. This is devastating what he's doing to Jehovah's Witnesses.
In charge of that work. Jesus has seen to it that it is carried out in an organized fashion. I would lose my mind. But it's not just that their preaching style is...
He crushed it. I mean, I've attempted to do the Watchtower voice many times, and he did such a good job. Commercial voiceover artist is exactly right.
Monotone.
Prescription commercial.
Everything is monotone and monochromatic. And I mean, it is so wildly uncomfortable to see the individuality just sucked out of these people.
Ooh.
Because I spoke with, black people and white people and Hispanic people and Asian people there, and it was very weird to hear them all speaking the same way. Now,
yeah.
It isn't just...
That's the pure language of the truth, sir. That's theocratic language. That's fascinating. Really perceptive that he picked up on that. That's something that, as a white person, always a great way to start a sentence. I don't think I appreciated it until I started watching XJW videos from people, who were of different backgrounds, and like JT and Lady C did a really good video about this, and Irregular Pioneer did a good video about this, about the way that Jagzit did a video about this, about the way that like your identity as a black person is kind of sucked out and replaced with the identity of like a very obviously white Anglo-Saxon Christian group, which, as we saw earlier, really has not changed its cadence since the 1960s. So, yeah, this guy's crushing it. Maybe I can get him on the channel. I've never succeeded in getting anybody who has a YouTube channel bigger than my own on the channel before. Literally never happened, but we'll see.
That they have a similar manner of speaking. It's just listening to the sermon and how much of it is just micromanaging everything that you think and do, and realizing that like this religion, this denomination, this sect, they are very interested in every aspect of your life, and they don't like individuality.
Teachers and classmates may never understand why I chose not to pursue a career in music, but that's okay. The career I chose gives me purpose and happiness now, and has an eternal future.
So for both of the sermons that I listened to...
Hey, wait a minute,
they referenced the Bible, but...
I just realized that he's doing the TV static thing. I just started doing that. I wonder where I picked that up from. Because I definitely did it because I had seen other channels do it. And it's just a useful cutaway between non sequiturs. We're static buddies.
The substance was just I mean, for starters, it was just utterly worthless. It is so...
Christina asked if that's like bosom buddies.
Both sermons, from what I remember, is, hey, the world is going to hell, and you just need to stay inside of church.
100% it's validated.
And always remember to pay your taxes. It was just, like, is that...
I'll try, but I want to be clear with people. I've tried to interview people that you like, that you would want to see on the channel, and nobody ever gets back to me or says yes. So it's not for lack of trying. It is now. Now I don't try. I don't really try anymore because I'm just kind of over interviews and collaborations. The last time I bothered doing one was with Harrison Cawthor. promptly took the red pill after, and it was really weird. And so I don't know. I've kind of been not interested in doing it, but I would love to talk to this guy. Maybe I should try. It's just like, I don't know. Feels like another form of rejection that I don't need in my life, you know? It feels like another way that people are going to be like, no, sorry, can't.
Everything there was just about abstaining from the world and staying away from worldly temptations.
Sorry, that was like very
mopey,
woe is
just,
me
you know,
bullshit.
isolate yourself more and more and more until your only circle of friends is within the Jehovah's Witnesses circles. And it was just really uncanny. I mean, it's weird because I haven't done the deep dive. I know that, weirdly enough, Mike Winger has done the deep dive on Jehovah's Witnesses, and he's mentioned a little bit, you know, about how they're
Mike
like a
Winger?
doomsday prepper cult. I haven't even gotten there yet. I'm sure that there is some spiciness here that I just haven't even seen yet. But just on the surface of it, it's weird to me. It's like this perfect utopian white picket fence version of a cult. It's like they've taken a horde of very diverse people and just ground them into a pulp and, you know, homogenized them and, you know, removed anything that doesn't fit neatly into this very unique mold. It's very uncomfortable. Like, one of the preachers got up there and said something to the effect of, and brothers and sisters, sometimes I have to watch myself because I like sports. And if I'm not careful, I can allow sports to become an idol. And that's not what Jehovah wants for my life. And it's not what he wants for yours either.
That's so good. That's so good. What I love about this is like, shit, sorry, lost my brain thoughts. As a witness, there would be some talks and watchtower studies where you'd be like, boy, I hope there's not a new person here. I hope there's not a Bible study here because this could kind of freak him out. And that's just I know that every witness knows that feeling. Well, when we've, why? There it is. Yeah, when we first collaborated, we had the same amount of subscribers. That's why that's why it made sense. Like, and then because she's like, you know, really good at what she does and uploads consistently on a wide variety of subjects and has very professional production value. Her channel is, you know, now really big, and so yeah, like. I think we're going to collaborate again in the not too distant future, but yeah, man, I don't know. I've just like had enough experiences just kind of feeling like I've been ghosted or whatever. Not ghosted even. It's just, I don't know. It's more probably a bit of cowardice on my part. Like I just am sick of I don't want to care about numbers on this show, and I've had so many people that have like started after me and like surpassed me in views, and I don't want to care about this. I just want to care about making my thing, and so and as soon as I invite other people into that, it feels like, well, now I have to pay attention to that stuff, because in order to like get them to come on, I have to like make it worth their while, because I'm a smaller YouTuber than them, and most of the time I just never hear back, and it's probably because they're busy, and I'm really bad at responding to emails, so I don't take it personally, but it's just like, I would just rather not. But what's it channel called? Heliocentric? Yeah, Heliocentric. You should come on the channel. Oh, I have more subscribers than him. Although he's going to catch up because I just subscribed.
Oh man, okay, so cool. This is kind of one of those weird things where, like, you know, I go to churches all the time and I sit politely and respectfully, but if I had to live through this, I would scream. I would lose my mind. Need I remind the class, I'm a metalhead.
I'll be honest. I don't know. Sometimes that's enough, but not when you can't pay the rent. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to take the perspective of like, this is a channel I do just for me and whoever bothers to watch. Do you think I don't do that? I do. Nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit. And it's just luck. It's just luck of algorithms. And you know, I'll be honest, I know you don't mean anything by it, but I really don't appreciate this sentiment. Like, I do want to make non-JW stuff. I don't really have time right now, just because I'm, you know, working on like this book and some other things. I just haven't had a bunch of extra time. But I've got a lot of scripts for non-JW content, but I just don't like the attitude that, like, well, first of all, anytime I've tried to upload non-JW stuff on this channel, tanks. No, really nobody cares. And so that just feels like totally unsustainable. But I don't like the idea that XJW content is sometimes seen as, like, lesser. Because I think it's good and I think it's important. And, like, I do understand why people move on because it can be exhausting. I am complaining a lot. I'm sorry. I don't... You know what? It has nothing to do with this guy. It's just me, the kind of doomer mood I'm in today. I'm sure that's what it is.
Holding a dagger over his kid, only for an angel to intervene at the last moment. That's crazy. Rock on, dude. So to have sort of a crazy theology, and then for that to be juxtaposed with, you know, neat smiling friends like this, it's just bizarre. Oh God. Okay. So man, I'm going to get excommunicated.
I like that. I like what he's talking about. The juxtaposition of smiling, happy people who all dress and sound the same, mixed with doomsday imagery.
Been like really
sounds like a certain book I could talk about.
So the sermons were very milquetoast. Then they go through the Bible study, and it's bad. It is bad. I'm trying so hard to be polite in case there are some of Jehovah's Witnesses who are watching this video.
I know.
So guys,
that's the plan.
Oh,
that's the plan.
So a solid hour and 15 minutes is devoted to just reading through, line by line, the Bible study. And then they do this little song and dance where there's two people walking around the Kingdom Hall with microphones. And so they'll go line by line.
Yeah, exactly.
And say,
That's exactly what it is.
What to do?
It's like, because you have no control over it, really. No. Absolutely a 0 negative 50,000% chance. Oh, that's why you're being mean. Because you're in a cult. I see. Well, Real Time 123, this guy, this atheist, just said that he liked how nice you guys were and how diverse you guys were. And yeah, now you're saying that he has no life and no future. Well, me too. Probably mostly me. But that's not very nice. I don't think that the governing body would want you to be watching this stream or commenting on it because they specifically tell you not to. So Jehovah might kill you soon. Sorry. Look out for that. You might die in Armageddon just because you watched a stream. So just be careful with that. You're directly going against what Christ's brothers are saying. That's dangerous territory.
And what to say. How do we benefit from following this counsel? Sister Caroline. And they'll call on people, and a dude with a microphone on a boom pole will stretch it out to them over the aisles, and they'll speak into the microphone, and they'll give their answer.
Exactly.
Their answer is in the exact same monotone, and their answer has to come from the text that they're reading. So, like,
hey, wait, whoa. What the fuck just happened?
The leader reads off.
Why is my... Oh, Christina, was that you? Yeah. Okay. Oh, no, it's fine. I was just like, shit, did I get hacked? And then I forgot. Christina's logged in. Oh, no, I don't care. If it's you, I don't care. I just was like, wait a minute. That actually looks like... I don't care. I had a second where I was like, oh my God, I've been hacked.
Off this section and then asks, the question at the end.
Oh, you succeeded.
From the following counsel. And then they're supposed to take from this paragraph and like formulate it into their own words, but no longer than 2 sentences, no stories.
It is like double apostasy.
It has to be safe. It has to be canned. It has to be pre-approved by the board. You can't deviate from this in the slightest. You can't just fly off the handlebars and give a personal testimony. Who knows if you're heretical? Oh gosh, you want to give a personal example from your life about how your mom died last year? You can't do that because we've got the text right here and you got to read from the text. So like, you're sitting there.
Why aren't you afraid of displeasing Jehovah though? Why don't you have a healthy fear of pleasing Jehovah God, the creator of his little baby boy Jesus Christ? Don't you worry that you're going against what his favorite magazine company says you should be doing? No. Sorry, Real Time. I'm clearly in a bad mood today. We've all been you. And then we ended up here. So we're glad to have you. Sorry I was mean. Sorry I've been whining. I probably need to wind this down. And wind this down.
there, and they're reading through it. I could have read this in my own time. And they'll call on, I think it was like 50 to 100 people, and they're all doing the exact same thing, where, you know, the leader reads a paragraph and then asks a question at the end, and then you regurgitate what he just read in your own words in 2 to 3 sentences. So that is an hour and 15 minutes of the sermon. And I don't think that I've ever seen a more clear-cut example of brainwashing than this, where it's like, you know, the purpose is not to further elucidate your understanding of the text. It's not to gain deeper wisdom or insight or, you know, more specificity with how you should be living. It is to reinforce the same thing that you know again and again and again and again. Don't question it. Don't think too hard about it. Just reinforce it again and again and again. Regurgitate it in your own lines again and again and again. Write it on the board again and again and again. And it's kind of scary. Now, if I had made a video after last week's sermon, I would have, you know, still complained about all these things, about it feeling kind of like uncanny and a little like too smiley, happy, friendly. But this time, the sermon was bad. Last week's sermon was called Press On to Maturity. It was all about, you know, how to go from being...
It's very funny to me that he calls it a sermon. But, I mean, it's not like he would know. I love that. I love this observation that he's making, and just the idea that, like, as a witness, you don't really understand how weird it is, like, how abnormal it is. How completely creepy it is to just to like read a thing and then be asked to regurgitate the thing that you just heard as an adult. Like, it's something that you do when you're like in elementary school, and it's not really a place to express your opinion if that opinion differs from the group. Am I right, real time? Well, that's good that you're not scared. I wasn't trying to be scary. I'm trying to be successful and failing, and I'm lashing out in anger at you.
Milk of the church to, you know, eating solid meat. Totally fine, all good, whatever. This week's sermon was called "Strengthen Your Appreciation for Jehovah's Organization."
Appreciate you,
and
Natalie.
The entire sermon
that's all I need.
What to do when you stumble across a video like this.
That's all I need is one compliment a day.
To know how to discard and block and ban videos or information like this that question.
Hang on a second. Is this an ad?
The Jehovah's Witnesses organization. Number 14. The source of attacks. Satan, the devil, is behind false stories. He is the father of the lie.
Ooh.
So we should expect.
By the way, just from a YouTube making point of view, I like the choice to like film the physical issue of the Watchtower and to have it in his hand. That's really good. I think it... what is it about that that's better? Like, just the tactility of it? Like, they print this. This isn't just some weird thing on a website. This is like a magazine that they print. I don't know. I thought that's like a really subtle choice that he made that really is cool.
That Satan will use his supporters to promote false stories about Jehovah's organization. So here in the pamphlet, they have like what to do when you come across information that is anti-JW. Oh gosh!
Well,
and if you're
that's why we're all here, dude. Don't tell us that we don't have any life and we're gonna die.
You guys, I'm just saying what I saw when I walked into the church. But according to the sermon today, there are apparently 3 different kinds of false stories. One, there are stories that come from well-meaning friends, and for those, you should ask if it's a verifiable source, and if not, you should shut them down gently. 2, there are unsolicited emails containing spectacular stories about Jehovah's people, and I'm really confused about this. Like, this is part of their sermon, that like if somebody comes to you and says, well, you know, did you know this crazy part of the JW history? Like, why do you need to be coached in how to delete it? And then number 3, there are apostates who disguise their identity by pretending to be interested in the message. I don't know if that's me or not. Technically, I'm a Christian apostate. I'm not a Jehovah's Witness apostate. But according to their official brochure, if my comments become increasingly derogatory about the organization, or if I try to give you false information from apostate sources, respectfully end the conversation. And then here in the brochure, there's literally like a picture of a woman, like, you know, tearing up anti-JW propaganda. Now, if you're one of Jehovah's Witnesses, before you turn off this video, here's what I'm going to say. You might be asking, why did you come to this church just to blast it? I came to this church because I was asked to come to this church. You knocked on my door. You stood on my street corner where I work. You left letters in my mailbox asking me to come to this church. I came to this church and I'm reporting on exactly what I saw. Here's an analogy.
Damn, that is so good. That's really good. That's a great rebuttal that I've honestly never heard, but it's such a simple point that he went there because they ask people to come all the time. Like, they invite people to the meetings. They send letters and put contact cards with your tip at the restaurant if they don't just give you that instead of a tip. Yeah, this is really great. Really excellent video. Well, shit, I'm gonna wrap things up here soon. This is a really great video. I'm going to watch the rest of it, and I hope he has contact information, because I will try and reach out to him to talk about it, because it was really interesting. I really like I really like getting an outside perspective on the group. And one thing that I have wanted to do that I just haven't really been able to make good on, and in fact, Shalise from Cults of Consciousness is somebody who I've thought about doing this with, but I really want somebody with like no information about witnesses, just to have them on and react to JW's stuff. So that would be cool. That's a collab idea I have. Now, hi, Bosif. Bosifina? Yes. Okay, so after this, we're going to, at 4, so in an hour, I'm going to take some time to eat lunch and wipe off my face. Sorry that I've been looking so sweaty and grimy this whole stream. And we're going to talk about some pretty serious stuff, but it'll be really interesting. We're going to be going through a CSA case that the group has been involved in that I'm going to make a video about from the angle of analyzing the lies that Watchtower tells in court. And so it's going to be fun. You'll be getting a preview of what I'm going to be working on this week, because this takes precedent over like a silly subject like Weasel Word. So if you want to join that, you can join the Patreon or become a channel member. But stay tuned for the channel. I want to get something thrown together like as quick as I can, but it's a subject that, you know, can't rush too much because it is important, and I don't want to get sued. So, thanks for joining. If you want to, like and subscribe and whatever, and check out subscribe to the Sunday Service channel, because, for example, this is such a weird, all over the place stream that it won't stay up on the main channel. It'll be on the Sunday Service feed. And, stay tuned, motherfuckers. That's what I got. That's what I got, is stay tuned, motherfuckers. All right, but thanks, everybody. I love you. And good night and good luck. And this has been Real Time 1, 2, 3 with Jakey C.